Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next, and then in 10 minutes at 9 o'clock, it's the BBC NewsHour on WNYC. Let's check in with London to see what they're working on. London, good morning.
Good morning, WNYC. I'm Nuala McGovern. On today's NewsHour, a dire humanitarian situation in Sudan due to civil war. Our journalists speak to the people affected by rape and ethnic violence. Also, scientists say they've eliminated HIV from infected cells. That's BBC NewsHour coming up at 9 on WNYC.
We have sunshine across the area this morning, competing with some of the clouds out there. 38 in West Caldwell, 46 in Westbury, and 41 in West Nyack. In the city right now, 45 as the sun is competing with clouds out there to dominate that sky. We have a chance of showers today, mainly in the afternoon. High temperature 56. It'll be windy as well. Cooler tomorrow.
WNYC supporters include the New York Historical Society and its exhibition K-Walking Stick, Hudson River School, where the Cherokee artist engages with Hudson River School works to reframe how the American landscape is considered, through April 14th, nyhistory.org.
On the next All of It, the new series Three Body Problem is adapted from a best-selling science fiction novel and is one of the most anticipated television shows of the season. It premieres this week, and we'll talk about it with one of its stars, actor Rosalind Chow. Plus, a live performance from the band The Lemon Twigs, and a conversation with Lynn Slater, author of How to Be Old, Lessons in Living Boldly from the Accidental Icon. Join us for All of It, weekdays at noon on WNYC.
Investing just got $8.5 billion more politicized.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by the Wall Street Journal, whose reporter Evan Gersovich was detained by Russia nearly 1 year ago to widespread condemnation. More about Evan at WSJ.com/Evan. And by Schwab, helping people invest in ideas they believe in with Schwab investing themes, with more than 40 themes to choose from. More at Schwab.com.
From Marketplace, I'm Sabri Benishore, in for David Brancaccio. Texas is voting with its dollars, pulling $8.5 billion from the country's biggest asset manager, BlackRock. Why? Well, the state's school fund says BlackRock is hostile to the fossil fuel industry, something BlackRock disputes. This is ultimately a fight over what's called ESG investing. That's where environmental, social, and corporate governance issues factor into investment decision-making. Marketplace's Nova Safo has the details.
Tom Maynard, the chair of the Texas Permanent Fund Corporation, in a statement criticized companies he says are, quote, pushing anti-Texas policies and woke indoctrination. The fund is pulling $8.5 billion in assets under management at BlackRock. Those assets were being put to work to fund Texas's school system. But the Texas Fund is not just pointing to ESG as the reason for its move, saying it's also reducing exposure to foreign markets in which BlackRock was providing investment management services. BlackRock doesn't appear to be buying that argument. It criticized the decision, saying it ignored the company's $120 billion investment in Texas's energy sector. The $8.5 billion being pulled is a tiny portion of the trillions under management at BlackRock. Still, it is double what CEO Larry Fink last year said the company had lost due to political backlash over ESG investing. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
The Commerce Department announced this morning it plans to give up to $8.5 billion to Intel. This is CHIPS Act funding, the idea being to strengthen the U.S. semiconductor supply chain, make more of those advanced chips here in the U.S. Intel, the department said, plans to invest more than $100 billion over the next 5 years in semiconductor manufacturing in the U.S. Intel stock is up 2.7% in pre-market trading. Let's see how the rest of the market's doing. Let's do the numbers. The FTSE in London is down 0.2%. Dow and S&P futures also down about 0.1%. Dow futures down 56 points. NASDAQ futures are up 0.1%. And the yield on the 10-year Treasury is 4.287%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Twilio Segment. Segment helps every team access good data that's real-time, clean, and accurate. The result is relevant customer experiences that drive real revenue. Learn more at segment.com. And by Disney, announcing that Disney will host its annual meeting of shareholders on April 3rd with a board of directors election. Learn more about voting at votedisney.com.
Novo was talking earlier about tensions between Texas and BlackRock over environmentally conscious investing. Well, a new research paper makes the case that big investment firms should be thinking about investing in climate resilience, not because it's great for the planet, but because it will make money. The report argues companies with climate solutions are good bets for big-time institutional investment, like pension funds and 401k retirement plans. Jay Koh is managing director of Lightsmith Group, a climate-focused private equity firm that provided data and analysis for this report. He talked with my colleague, David Brancaccio.
The paper argues that investing in climate solutions is not, 2018, back before social investing got repoliticized, but that there are possible returns for climate-aware investing that should, now be attractive to the biggest, most sophisticated investment firms?
Yeah, the paper says climate resilience is an investment opportunity, a growth investment theme, if you will, that's equivalent to and even intertwined with the decarbonization investments that you see happening all around us. Fundamentally, climate impacts are now inevitable to some degree, until 2030 at least, and therefore there's an opportunity to invest in technologies and solutions that help us understand those impacts and help us to manage and even transcend them.
What do institutional investors, this could be an entire country's sovereign wealth fund or a union's pension or a state employee retirement fund. What do they look for when evaluating investments?
One of the things that's very important is not only the macro trend of is climate change happening or not, and do we need solutions or not, but is it investable? And this is a paper that answers that question, I think, for the first time.
Let me understand this better. At a time that an investment company like BlackRock, while it's sticking with its environmental social government type strategies, it's now going to shy away from using the term ESG because the BlackRock CEO thinks the term has been, in his words, weaponized politically. You're saying, all that aside, your research says there are potential returns there that are investable. Companies are doing this already if you want to be a part of it.
Yeah, one way of thinking about it is your understanding of climate change may be higher than almost any other set of investment factors you're thinking about. So I don't know what's going to happen with interest rates or inflation or consumer behavior, but between now and 2030, I have a pretty high conviction, and so does the science, that climate change will continue to unfold. And at that rate, there will be increasing demand for technologies and solutions that help us understand everything from how much wildfire risk we're going to have to what kind of respiratory impact that will have as a result, and where we should be thinking about the supply chain being disrupted, food being produced, water being generated, and even our housing being valued going forward. Most of the companies, it's important to say, today wouldn't call what they do, climate change anything. But they have technologies that help us understand how risks are changing.
You'd think that the companies involved would tout the climate benefits. It's interesting that you have to essentially uncover them, do some digging.
Yeah, I think right now most companies are just beginning to become aware of the fact that their solutions and technologies can be described as supporting resilience, if you will, or climate adaptation. Most of them consider what they do simply to be risk management. How do I manage my supply chain better? And then how do I start to do that when I now see fires across the Pacific Northwest or, even the Texas freeze? I think, probably within 5 to 10 years, people will describe what they do as managing, climate-related risks in the same way they manage all kinds of other risks.
Jay Koh, Managing Director of Lightsmith Group, a climate-focused private equity firm. Mr. Koh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was my Marketplace colleague, David Brancaccio, speaking with Jay Koh, Managing Director of Lightsmith Group in New York. I'm Sabri Ben-Achour with the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.